Welcome, everyone. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music and blessing every weekday morning. It's been our honor to do so since March 18th, 2020. Today is April 12th, 2022. What a blessing it has been to create this community with all of you over the last months and days and years. What a gift it is to meet with the kind souls. So titled by Linda. And Valerie, Boker Tov to you. Judy, good morning, my friend. Penny, missed you so much. So glad to welcome you back today. It is broadcast 524 today. Gewalt. That's a lot of Torah. And it's also a lot of friends, thank God. Let's see who else is here. Carl, good morning. Patty, Catherine, good to see you. Lydia, Boker Tov. Arlene, hi. Roberta and Janice, Joy. So good to see all of you. Valerie, in 5 hours, you will be at a Beit Din. B'sha'a tova, it should go beautifully for you. What a gift for you to share that with us. What an honor to learn Torah with you now. Wanda and Arlene, Masya, good morning. Simone, good to see you. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Natalie. Hermes, good morning. Saludos back to you. Carolyn and Andy, Bob, Boker Tov friends. All right, we've got 42 friends. Hi, Stanley. Lisa, good to see you. 46 friends. Let's get started. Let's take a breath, sing a blessing. Good to see you. Patricia, sending you comfort and honoring your mother's yurtzeit. May her memory be for a blessing. So good to see all of you here. I mention often that one of the glories of this community that we've created together is that we take the time to really hear how each other is doing. This is one of those moments where I'm just going to pour it out a little bit myself. Just a week ago today, I was blessed to be in my office for our broadcast and invite my dear friend Rachel Brodie onto the screen with me where we taught together. It was joyful and it was full of laughter and it was full of Rachel's unique brand of meaning making. She has been a dear friend and teacher to me for many, many years. And just yesterday, tragically, suddenly, she died. And so not only do I want to dedicate my learning, my teaching today to Rachel's memory, I also turn to you as a community that takes turns when we hold each other. This is one of those moments where I'm a little bit lost because a dear friend and teacher is no longer alive. And just literally a week ago, it was April 5th, she was by my side teaching. And so I'm sorry to share the sad news, but I'm turning to you because a community is a container for truly lived moments. And Rachel was very precious to me. She was precious to many people, to her children, to her community, to her many, many students, and to her friends. So I just turn to you for the things that community provides, and I'm sending her soul blessing as it continues its journey. So, to be clear, I'm not very prepared to share a thought. So I picked up a Haggadah that I love. Actually, cousins of mine created this beautiful Haggadah called "The Night That Unites," connecting teachings of three great rabbis: my father-in-law, Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik, and Rav Kook, all of them giants. And I opened the page almost at random, and so I'll do my best, friends, just to ground us in some Torah. By doing so, I'm going to try to ground myself in our community, in the learning. And I appreciate the comfort. I see it coming in. I appreciate having you to turn to. It's what a real community is. One of the great complications of a rabbi's life sometimes is that they end up being the convener and the caregiver. But I've known so many communities and watched colleagues who have been unafraid to share their real humanity, which is moments of sadness too. And so I know that that's who we are, friends. I know that. And I'm very grateful for the real community that we've created. It takes intention all of these times, but I knew that I wouldn't have to apologize for showing up in my real moment too. So thank you for being exactly who you are, and thank you for helping build this community as authentically and with as much heart as we have each day. I'm in a little bit of shock because I can't accept that she's gone. So, in memory of Rachel, there's a section of the Haggadah that we know because it's really the beginning, right? The journey of the Seder begins with degradation, begins with our slavery, and we move forward into a better future. That's the arc of the Seder. We move from sadness towards joy. So that's something that I'm conscious of right now. So the Hebrew for the very beginning of the Seder is Avadim Hayinu Lefaro b'Mitzrayim. Right? We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. And if you listen closely to the words, you might even know the melody. Avadim Hayinu Hayinu Lefaro b'Mitzrayim b'Mitzrayim Avadim Hayinu. So the translation is very careful here. The translation that I have in front of me is we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. But Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik, the Rav, asked once, why doesn't it say, we were Pharaoh's slaves, Avdei Pharaoh? And listen to the comment here. It's a really, really beautiful comment. Rabbi Soloveitchik teaches, instead of the phrase, we were slaves to Pharaoh, the Haggadah could have used the phrase, we were Pharaoh's slaves. However, the phrase, we were Pharaoh's slaves, would imply that the Jews had lost their identity, their unique qualities in their quest for freedom. That is what we were, Pharaoh's slaves. That phrase would give the impression that all that the Jews of Egypt knew was slavery and service to a master. On the contrary, the phrase in the Haggadah, Avadim Hayinu Lefaro, we were slaves to Pharaoh, says that the social status of a Jew at the time was that of a slave, but that slavery was an external condition. Internally, the Jews remained the descendants of Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob, Leah, and Rachel, and they yearned for the day that they would be free. Although we were slaves to Pharaoh, we never lost our self-worth and our identities. Friends, this is a really interesting point, and I'll make it simply, and then I will thank you one more time for the comfort. There is a very important shift in language, and sometimes we think that people are way too focused on the specific language that you use to describe a person, a group of people, a moment in history. It's really important for us to know that words matter. We know that. We know that. We studied that with Rachel last week because Mitzorah, right, the very lesson that she was teaching us, was about someone whose spiritual language affected their physical health. That was our learning. For us to know that the word slave is different than enslaved. As we speak about Jewish history, and when we reflect on the experience of black people in America, they weren't slaves, they were enslaved. They were always who they were. And the challenge of maintaining an identity under systemic degradation is one that our Haggadah should sensitize us to. No one is a slave. They are an image of God. They are a child of the Holy One. That language should remind us not only to look back at our ancestors with reverence for having survived so much, but absolutely, when we think about history, and not just reconciliation, but reparation to the human beings who were treated as if they weren't human. Our ancestors went through that experience, and many people's ancestors have too. So too, when we look at human beings and we say refugees, in today's world, perhaps we can do better and recognize that they are human beings whose homes have been torn, whose lives have been disrupted, but they know who they are. So friends, my heart is sort of in those ideas. I hope that they might be helpful to you for Seder, and certainly in the way that we conduct ourselves in conversations. But most of all, I just wanted to offer you my gratitude. It is a gift to have community. It really is. So I pray that you have community in the way that you need, and thank you for being the community that I need right now. Let's sing our way into a better day, friends. May the memory of Rachel Brodie be for a blessing. Friends, bless you all. Take care. See you soon.